Today we are doing the all relievers rebuild. Yes, you heard that right. Every pitcher on the roster is going to be a reliever or closer. Thing is, I have a couple of rules just to make things even more challenging than it already is. One, I may sign any offensive player I want in free agency. They cannot make more than the highest paid reliever or closer on the team. Secondly, out of all of the pitchers on the roster, I have to have at least 4 left-handed pitchers in order to proceed through the season. I do have guys in the minors. This goes all the way down and through A-ball roster. Offense is as follows: Andrew Benintendi, Mike Tauchman, Justin Turner, Jason Hayward, Enrique Kike Hernandez, Andrew McCutcheon, Nick Gordon, Ty Francis, Indy Rodriguez at catcher, and on the bench we've got Jamison Hanna, Joey Bart, Tim Anderson, and Nate Eaton. For the pitchers, Brian Abreu, AJ Puck, Bryce Wilson, Tristan Beck, Brandon Belak, Josh Hader, Jeff Hoffman, Matt Brash, Jojo Romero, Ron Marinaccio, Garrett Clevenger, Devin Williams, and Emmanuel Clase. Let me know down in the comments what you think our records are going to be at the end of the year. In the draft, we had 2 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders that go along with 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th picks. We have a lot of money, almost $12 million to spend, and our draft picks, I think, are pretty damn good. First pick was Giovanni Lindsay from New York. His future potential numbers look pretty good, and even his current numbers look very good. He might not make the opening day roster just because his fielding is not that great. He only wants $3.1 million and is more concerned with the signing bonus than anything, because I've already drafted him, so draft position won't matter too much. In the second first-round pick, we took Ricky Kenny. Ricky Kenny was sitting there right as I was looking at Giovanni, and I'm like, let me pick Giovanni first. I know it sounds kind of stupid given Kenny's potential is 86 to 97, could be higher. And I just said, let's take a risk. Let's get a plethora of players. We can get this special talent. We now have him on our squad. He wants $1.3 million, not a ton of money. We should easily be able to sign him. What he's lacking is in power and in fielding. So he's going to spend a decent amount of time working on that part of his game. One of the second-round picks we got was Doug Pena, a left-handed reliever. Looks like he might have pretty solid stamina. It says 31 to 46. Could be higher, could be lower. If we can get more effort out of our relievers, that'd be great. Even the guys in the lower levels, 4-seam slider, curveball, changeup. Fastball's not the fastest, but he mixes his pitches, and I think it'd be pretty good for us. Roberto Valdez, another player that was continuing to sit there. I drafted him, and I think his potential range might have been a little higher than what I was looking at the time. It's fine. If he's a C, hey, he's 21 years old. His present numbers look like he is a great defender and just definitely needs to work on the offense. We also drafted Alex Cuevas, who is position versatile. Plays first, plays third, can play right field. Despite his arm strength not being that great, that's usually where you stick your weak arm. Present numbers don't look that great, other than maybe reaction might be good. Otherwise, he's a work in progress. JUCO from Cuba. Wait, I don't know how he's a JUCO from Cuba, but whatever. Rodney Harrington, shot in the dark with this one. 81 to 99 potential. Could be, actually, I don't know what he could be. If his overall is terrible, it might just take a long time before we see him. He wasn't even draft ranked throughout the league. Stephon Cabral just kind of took a player that might have some high potential. He very well may be in the low overall high potential category. He might be a very high C on that razor's edge. It could be a phenomenal generational talent at a 98 potential. And Alfredo Salazar, 5th round pick. We don't know what he could be. His present numbers and his future numbers look good. We might have gotten a steal late in the draft. Looking over, our draft specifically, not a single player's potential is in the yellow. Giovanni Lindsay, 80 potential. Call that good. Ricky Kenny, who we waited for, 93 potential. Doug Pena, solid, 78 potential. Roberto Valdez, 77 potential, solid. Alex Cuevas, 88 potential. Now, some of these guys don't have that great overall, or the starting attributes aren't too great, but we got time. We can work with Rodney Harrington, a guy I drafted, I don't know, like on a whim. 92 potential, he is going to need a hell of a lot of work. Alfredo Salazar, the only one who might have just been able to sneak into that yellow area, he didn't. He is a 76 potential. I like the fact he can at least hit at average level as far as versus righties. His fielding is He may be one of the first ones called up. We'll see how things play out in free agency. And Stephon Cabral, he's going to need work, but he's got 91 potential. Predictably, because of the offense on our team and the restrictions we have with our pitchers, we didn't lose 100 games, but we don't make the postseason. Here in free agency, we're at 93 players on the roster and run into a little bit of an issue. Jeff Hoffman might not return. I don't want to withdraw the contract because, well, I want the draft pick. And Alex Bregman did not have that great of a 2024. I'm almost thinking we probably don't need him, though I know he's a name. 46 RBIs, 132 games, like, you didn't do a lot. Granted, all the teams have finished drafted, so maybe we just don't sign him and just go with some of the guys on roster. Hoffman is no longer interested in what we got to offer, so we'll move on for him. I know he's a high overall, but other teams are offering the actual closer role, and we just need as many arms as possible. This man you see above you is going to be our biggest free agent pickup this offseason. Danny Jansen. He got past the first two rounds of free agency and nobody has signed him. So we wouldn't have to deal with giving up a draft pick. And I'm not exactly going to put him in at starting catcher. He will be our DH. Because we need somebody with some oomph, with some bop, that can maybe help some of these other players be driven in his runs. The Reds won the World Series, and we have the number one, well, tied for number one with two other teams. To get the number one pick, hopefully we do. We'll see. And unfortunately, we've been slid down to number 5. We can still get a good player, but damn, you usually don't find much in the Rule 5 draft. But I can't really turn away from this pitcher. Michael Kopech, or Kopech, or I should have baseball referenced this. We're going to take him with our first pick. There are 2 or 3 other guys in this Rule 5 draft I am looking at. One of them I just saw got snatched up. His name being Jonathan Diaz, going to San Francisco. I got others in mind. Second pick, I'm going to go with Josh Kasevich. He looks solid enough, and he's only 24 years old. Got a good arm for a second baseman. We might move him around, though. Took until late December, but Bregman is in the building. I gave him a 3-year deal. One of those is a mutual option, 2027. See what he can do for us. Hopefully he can give us better than what he did in 2012. I don't like those numbers, but I'm sure he'd drive in more. We're almost at the point of arbitration, and Patrick Wisdom is still just chilling there. Plays third, plays first, plays both corner, outfield. I'm finna sign him. Team's only about to give him $2 million? I cut a dude. Let's get him in our build. Ooh, I don't want to sign you for that long. Yeah, you could get 2 years with an option. Hopefully he takes our deal and we have a bona fide big bat in the lineup. I thought I had the wisdom to pick up Patrick. There you go. I was hoping we'd get out of spring training without any injuries, but Brian Abreu was going to miss basically a month and a half, 45 days you see over there, fractured forearm. We can replace him, but he was a big time arm we needed. This may seem a little cheesy, but here's a starting rotation for us. Brandon Belak, AJ Puk, Bryce Wilson, Michael Kopech, Tristan Beck, and the relievers are Ron Marinaccio, Jojo Romero, Garrett Clevenger, Matt Brash, Emmanuel Clase, Devin Williams, and Josh Hader. Righty-lefty lineups are as follows. Nate Eaton, Enrique Hernandez, Danny Jansen, Alex Bregman will bat fourth, Ty France, Victor Robles, Jameson Hannah, Nick Gordon, and Derek Hall batting at the bottom just because I want some power down there, just so the bottom of the lineup isn't oh, these guys can't hit. Versus lefties, it is Robles, Benintendi, Hernandez, Wisdom, France, Jansen, Eaton, Hannah, and Andy Rodriguez playing second. I didn't realize how position versatile he is. We have an opportunity to extend the airbender, and I'm going to do it. Just because I don't really want to lose him. He wants 5 years at 60.5, which really seems a little low. he can have it. Honestly, he can have it. The 2025 draft, we have 8 picks to choose from. 2 firsts, a second, 2 thirds, a 4th, 5th, and 6th. As if this terrible season could get any worse, Josh Hader is going to be done for 2 to really 3 months. And then we lose another reliever for 1 to 2 months. But we are 18 and 58. We are absolutely terrible. Maybe you might need to make a trade. Let's see. This is absolutely minor, and who knows if anybody will even pay attention this far into the video. So it turns out when a player is drafted and they aren't signed, they don't end up in the free agent pool. They do end up in the next year's draft like it should have been from the beginning. How do I know? I remembered tracking Prince Medrano on a sticky note on my computer just to see if he would actually be in the next year's draft, because he was in 2024. Now in 2025, he's been picked by the Chicago Cubs. Let's look at our draft picks though. Our first pick was Jack Tata. It was between him and I believe Angel Torres. Torres went 5th right after us. I went with the safer pick as opposed to the riskier pick because I didn't know whether he was actually going to be good or not. He looks like he probably will be, but nonetheless, we got a good guy for right field because we currently have no true right fielders. Next, we chose Joe Merrifield. While the AI apparently is not able to draft closers or relievers in the first round, they did. They definitely took like 3 or 4 of them, which whatever. As long as they're not going like number 1, it's fine. Second round pick was Will Black, a catcher. You see, he might have pretty good potential. He also might be kind of meh. Johnny Ojeda was our 3rd round pick. Again, all over the places where he could be. Next in the 3rd round, we went with Ed Scott, a second baseman I could have took in the compensatory round for that second first round pick, but he fell and fell and fell. So overall may not be that good, but he does play multiple positions, 2nd and 3rd. Norris Tejada was our last round pick. Could be good. Chad Pierce, just figured I'd start to fill in some of the infield positions and outfield too, just because we don't know what free agency's going to look like. And remember, the rule is no offensive player can make more than the top paid pitcher on our squad. We also chose Reynaldo Figueroa as our final pick in the 2025 draft. A new look offense is as follows. Robles will lead off against righties, followed by Guerrero, Bregman, Benintendi, Julian, Jansen, Eaton. The rookie just drafted, Tata, will bat 8th. Massive power. Hopefully he can really bunch of smacks, get a bunch of home runs. And then Tommy Troy will be number 9. Against lefties, a lot of the same. We'll flip some guys around. And again, hopefully the offense is now there so that we can really start winning some games. I want to see this team in the postseason. Here are our draft picks. Got Will Tompkins. Pretty solid enough potential and decent enough overall. Lefty bat, second baseman. Next we got Mr. Steven Dunn. Again, another solid guy. Lefty bat. Plays all outfield positions. Gregory Daniels, a second baseman, also plays short. Might have high B potential. Billy Murrow, all over the place. He kind of was just I ran out of guys that I scouted kind of pick, and he's 18, so he'll get better over the time. We'll see. Gilberto Lopez, again, solid guy. I went for a lot of guys that were just like, I know what I'm looking at here, and I'll take him. This guy's extremely interested. He should sign for, if not that, a little less. Mark Kahn, a right fielder. I did get a decent amount of outfielders just because we kind of need to get that outfield ball going. Guys like Jack Tata is actually hitting pretty well thus far. I'll show you his numbers in a minute. Michael Key, he was projected to have very good power. You see right above my chrome dome. He could be in the 70s right now, could in the future be in the 80s, probably 90s. Not much of a fielder, but I really don't care at this point. We need the offense pretty badly. Will Tompkins was the last pick. His power numbers looked better, but his contact isn't too bad against righties. All these guys should sign, and we're not too far out of a wild card spot. Will we make it? Remember when I traded with Boston to get Robbie Daughtry? Somehow, some way, he ended up being a free agent. I guess he didn't have a contract, but I still ended up trading for him, and yet he wasn't on my roster. Miami had him. Now, I'm going to dump on the Marlins, and they're going to take what I throw at them, jerks. Now, he's not batting all that great, but 250 is fine. I would think with the other guys we got in this offense, he'd be able to pick things up, even if he's at the bottom of the lineup. Somehow, someway, Jack Tata is going down in power, despite the fact he's got 11 home runs in 405 ABs. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. This is not surprising given this is MLB the Show. But I'm going to move him up in the lineup. I'm going to move him to number 3 because he actually has the second most RBIs of anybody on this team. So you're going to be pushed up in the lineup. Do what you got to do. Gotta admit, not the best of draft classes, but that's only because, well, nobody ended up in the blue range, which I'm fine with if these guys tend to pan out and be decent major leaguers. That's honestly what we kind of need. Our relief pitching is not too shabby. Gregory Daniels, not too bad. Can work on the fielding. Michael Key definitely has solid power. Berto Lopez is going to need to work on his game, obviously. Billy Morrow, good Ks per 9, solid hits per 9. Just got to work on the control. Mark Kahn, I don't know how his potential is lower than his overall or why this game ever continues to give players that kind of thing. But he's probably going to tank, but he looks ready to play. Like I'd play him straight out of the draft. He's got righty contact, he can field decently, and he's got some speed. So there's not a whole lot more you want, though. Probably be power in this case. Delman Coleman, he can hit righties, contact. That's about it. Not your prototypical first baseman. He can play the outfield and left. He is a switch hitter. And everybody else seems to be, again, solid players. We're only half a game out of a wild card spot. We just got to make a nice push. Got this. We have 5 relievers we have to make an extension decision for. Abreu, Romero, Bryce Wilson, AJ Pook, and Michael Kopech. Let's just make these moves now before somebody snatches up. Abreu will come back, Romero will come back, Wilson should be back, and one of our sneaky end starters, he should be back too. I'm gonna bump his money up just because it's only fair. Everyone else on this list is an arbitration, and no point in overpaying for no reason. The Rockies found a first baseman with 91 contacts straight out of the draft. That's wild. And he's 82 overall. How his overall is lower than his potential? Again, I still do not understand. Damn. Wisdom's going to miss a decent amount of time, 2 to 3 months. That's a shame. September 1st, we are in a tie, technically, with the Rockies. Oh my God. We couldn't win for nothing. We couldn't even get to 500. We were literally right there to start the month. What the, man? I mean, the Bregman signing is starting to pay off. He led the league in hits. And then our faith in the rookie, despite him not really being able to field, ends up winning the Rookie of the Year award. 20 home runs, 76 RBIs, but his average was 211. So hopefully he gets to working on that contact in the offseason. Speaking of Bregman, we have a team option on him. And honestly, he returned back to, I'd probably consider his prime form. Last time when he did this, 2018-2019, it's only 7.7 mil. Maybe he gives us 35. You know, it's one last hurrah. Yeah, Victor Robles, who I was being offered a trade earlier, and it was just some garbage, so I ain't take it. He's getting his power up. His average isn't that great, and he's still a great fielder, even if I don't look at his fielding percentage. I think it's only right we bring him back, but he can't bat leadoff. Not with those kind of numbers. We'll front load him this 4 for 30. This should be just fine. I don't see this as a low ball in any way, shape, or form. Wisdom would be an outright free agent, and even at 35, I feel like it's only right we at least keep him for depth purposes, and you see he don't like that. Not that morale matters anymore, but I think a fair deal, 2 for 12, sounds fair. Puck has 99 K per 9. We have to bring him back. But I'm not doing it for 5 years. Why does everybody ask for 5 years? I'll give you 4. We can come to an agreement on something maybe a little later. If you're as good as advertised, I'll even backload it for you, bro. I'll even backload. Hopefully we make the postseason soon to justify this money. Alex Bregman says he wants to hit the market. I'm not even too mad about that. I'm lying. I'm mad about it. He's the top rated free agent. I get why you want to leave. Get your bag. Somebody else is probably going to pay you more. Don't think I'm going to fight too hard to try to keep you. 2027, kick some people around the lineup. Otherwise, it's more or less the same. Most of these guys are slightly better. 100 games into the season at the All-Star break, we are 50-50, which sounds about right. We're 50-50. As you can see, runs scored versus runs allowed. It's basically we give up one more. We score more than we give up by 1 run. So we are the definition of 50-50 baseball. I really want to see this team in the postseason. I'm sure y'all do too. For the first time in the 2024 MLB the Show cycle, I've actually got a player unsigned. Tried. Maybe I shouldn't have skipped ahead 4 days and then decided in the last minute, like, yeah, we could definitely sign him by throwing as much as the slot value was, but we couldn't get him, and he'll be in the draft next year. Anywho, as for the guys who will be a part of this organization, Randall Stevenson, yeah, we took him in the compensatory round. Look at those numbers. He's bound to replace any of the older closers, that being Clase, Hader, or Williams, in the very, very near future, just based off those hitting K per nines alone. We also chose a relief pitcher who is very, very high for the youngster. Walks per 9. Herbert Gunn was a second baseman. He's okay initially. He's got speed. That's about it. Otherwise, he's going to be sitting in the minors for several years. Randolph Jacob, first baseman. He's got decent fielding and can hit a little something. He's 18 years old. What I hate, the thing I usually hate, is his potential and his overall are basically the same. They'll probably go up some, but it won't be much every year. Following that is Jack Sims, another closer who I found who has even higher Ks per 9 than Mr. Dan Savage up top. He'll actually be playing for us at some point. Another guy with higher overall than his potential, so the game's going to do what it does to be like, oh, well, we got to correct that, so he'll, go down some. Jonathan Tran was next. He can field his behind off, but he's got no bat behind him. He's 20 years old. And lastly, Lawrence Taguchi, a reliever. He's fine. He's fine, and we'll see if he'll be a part of the organization in the next couple seasons. Hopefully, we don't even got to deal with that. Maybe we win a World Series this year. I just want to make the playoffs. I failed to mention, we're in first place, but not by much. 500, the definition of baseball purgatory. Bregman led the league in hits again. Fun fact, Aaron Judge has 4 MVPs. 4. Sorry, 5. I mean, how close are we really going into year 5? You can see my job security is poor. I actually don't remember if I have GM contracts on. They probably should fire me by now. Danny Jansen has decided to not exercise his half of the mutual option on his contract for $9 million, so he's going to be a free agent. But Keibert Ruiz is sitting on the trade block at the start of the offseason. He is making less, even if it is more years. Granted, we have Andy Rodriguez, but his offense just really isn't there. So I'm going to trade for Ruiz. Turns out they want AJ Puck and Lodell Shapey. Problem is, Shapey doesn't have a contract, and until I sign him, this trade won't go through. He is on a renewal deal. This shouldn't be too difficult. I'm breaking the 3 closer rule. Randall Stevenson is just too damn good. I know the walks per 9 ain't that great, but I want the playoffs in year 5. What the hell? He ain't ready yet. Look at that ERA. Look at that whip. Strikeouts to walks. Nah, you gotta wait a bit, fella. One last heave. Why not? Nelson Velasquez is on the trade block. I guess he should be. Whatever. Either way, massive right-hand power, and the Angels don't want really anything too crazy. I'm willing to do it with like 2.5 games out of a wild card spot. Let's just throw everything at the wall. Disappointingly, this ends 77-85. If y'all want to see any other kind of rebuilds, let me know down in the comment section. Check out the Franchise Ain't Dead podcast. Aaron Judge about to catch Bonds. He got 6. I'll let y'all later. Peace. 6 MVPs.